So should we let women join the falconry, especially here in the UK? What about young people? And don't even get me started on gays and lesbians. Should they really be allowed to participate, especially in UK falconry? Well, I can tell you now, some of you will have been offended by the title and the intro there. Some of you will be nodding your heads. But I think most of you will think, Dave, what the hell are you going on about, you idiot? Do you know what? There are definitely people that not only are homophobic, there are people that really don't think women make particularly good falconers. And there are people that think young people shouldn't be here in the sport of falconry, especially here in the UK. Let's discuss, because it doesn't matter what your sexual persuasion is, that's completely irrelevant. But for sure, there are differences between young people and adults, and more importantly, as equal as men and women are, if you think men and women are the same, you're in cloud cuckoo land. We are incredibly different creatures. We perceive things differently, and we do some things differently, and that can be very beneficial to some things and maybe not to others. But for falconry itself, it makes no difference. It really does make no difference. But like I would say, most pastimes, I'm not going to call falconry a hobby. It can't be a hobby. You can't do falconry as a hobby. It's a passion. But many pastimes in the UK and around the world, and in some parts of the world, absolutely, are male dominated. My theory for that, and what I tell people that come here at our open weekends, is because once upon a time, the poor, hard-working man, he had to go to work at least 5 days a week. Probably, like it or not, was forced to go to church on a Sunday. So for all of that, you know, he deserved to have some downtime. He deserved to have a hobby. He deserved to have a passion, to do his thing. Maybe he wanted to go and play skittles down a pub and have a drink. Maybe like fishing, maybe like hunting or falconry or other things like that. But the woman, you know, she didn't work, did she? She was just a housewife. Just looked after the kids, played with the kids all day, did a bit of tidying up, cooked a meal now and again. That is seriously how things used to be. It really is. You can scoff all you like, and I disagree with it as much as you. Goodness me. When I first had a baby, people at my work, men, actually said to me, "That's right for the missus, isn't it? She's just at home all day. You're here working hard in the print finishing. Boring job." And I said, wouldn't swap it for the world. Her job's way harder than mine. Way harder than mine. But that is the world we live in. There are parts of the world where women are not allowed to do things that men do because they're women. And it's a knock-on, and it's a catch-up thing. Football, golf, fishing, fast motorbikes, falconry, many of the similar things are male dominated here in the UK, and it really still allows room for that chauvinistic male attitude. It really, really does. I know people that really scoff at the idea of women being falconers, and yet here at Icarus Falconry, it's been a long list, a long time frame of women that have been the backbone of Icarus Falconry, flying the birds. And some of you will say, haha, not real falconry though, is it, Dave? That's education and display falconry. Some of the girls that have worked here are not interested in hunting. They just love the passion of education and flying birds and training them in displays. Others are absolutely our hunters. It makes no difference at all. But it is that separate in some ways, through ignorance and through time, that there's even a women's falconers club, a falconry club set up just for women. Really, to give some of those women a chance to feel comfortable within UK falconry, to not have the chauvinistic, egotistical male input that we do have here. And it does prevail to a degree, for sure. But should they be allowed in? Well, that's just ridiculous. It's not for anyone to say if women are allowed into falconry. It's entirely up to them. So let's look at the younger person side of things. So I had a guy recently, 11 years old, not even a big strappy 11-year-old at all. He was an 11-year-old lad. Hold on, we're going indoors. I'm going to turn the lights on. And that guy came along with his dad. Now he'd got more than enough money to become a falconer. I mean, he could afford to buy the latest GPS technology transmitters and receivers, the birds, more than enough money and room for the best housing possible. And he got all the stuff and he built all the stuff. 11 years old, and his dad said, and he said, I'm only interested in flying a harrisawk. That's the bird he wants. And my words to him were, not your age, because this guy was much brighter and much better educated than a lot of kids I meet at schools that age, for no other reason, really, than he wasn't handed a phone. He'd got an analog phone. He lived in real life, in real time. He was a capable lad. But he was still quite slightly built. He's only 11 years old. A harrisawk can do you serious damage. And if you're not aware, and it jumps up in your face, it can do you serious damage. And they do. My concern to his parents were, it's a bird capable of damage. But a kestrel, a sparrowhawk, that's no good for a beginner. Not so bad, maybe if mother or dad are training their child up. But that was my big thing. So forgetting the potential for harm, let's just take that to the side for now. This lad did the right thing. He came on a falconry course with me. He learned how to do things the right way. A basic level. There's only so much you can teach in a few days, whatever. That lad, off he went. Got his hawk, did everything right, off he went. Take my phone number. Give me a text if you get any problems at all or you get stuck. Didn't hear from him for 2 months. None of the staff here heard from him for 2 or 3 months. Yeah, at least 2 months. And they said, what do you think happened? And I said, either he's doing splendidly well, or there's been a mishap, or boredom, or something, and we've misjudged this guy, and he's got rid of his bird. A few weeks later, messages me, can I just have another bit of your time? Didn't charge him, we did this for free. But he came up and he said, I don't know so well. Bird's really doing well, just following on. I'm just struggling to find game and rabbits to get that bird hunting successfully. And as I said from the beginning, you may own a lot of land, but unless you've got a lot more land with a lot of rabbits on, you're going to struggle to hunt them. That's the big downside. But that's nothing to do with his age. That's everyone. No one beginning falconry realises how much quarry you actually need and how much land you need to fly your birds on to be successful. But there you go. That 11-year-old lad, yeah, in a couple of months, had got a lot further with falconry than many grown men have, for sure. It's a difficult one because I see it all. And the point of this video actually is because Emily here at Icarus Falconry, she's not very old. Oh, do you know what? She's one of them women. Oh, she says to me, I read a lot of stuff on social media. I see a lot of stuff written where the attitude is, in America, and especially in the UK, from a lot of people, do you know what? Don't let them in. Don't have nothing to do with these newbies. Don't have nothing to do with these wannabes. Shut the door on them. There's enough idiots in falconry right now, and they're all ruining the sport of falconry. Let's just keep the doors closed, barricade it. We will be the falconers. Us guys that know it all, us white men, we'll be the falconers. Keep the rest out. Well, what a short-sighted, stupid approach, in my opinion, to falconry here in the UK. Because unfortunately, we're always going to attract the dabblers and the idiots that let the side down, that make falconry look bad for those that are genuine, passionate falconers. But if we just put a blocker, I'm not helping anyone. I can't be bothered. We're getting no one in falconry. And especially those young people. Those guys, we need them coming up through the ranks of falconry. And unfortunately, if you shut the door in their face and you don't want to help anyone because it's not worth your while and they'll just be dabblers, unfortunately, the dabblers will still dabble. And you're preventing really potentially passionate falconers here from picking up the baton and moving forward. It really is crazy. Falconers that say women, they'll never learn to swing a lure, or that bird's too big for her. Well, young Emily here, she flies out a bald eagle as well as I do. There's a lot of men that would not manage flying a bald eagle for no other reason than if they got bitten or a talon in them from an imprint eagle, they would actually cry and give it up. They'd probably hit the eagle because that's what men tend to do. Those kind of men. Women have a different side to them. They have a nurturing side. Some women, like Emily, they don't give a fig. They do everything right. If they get a slight injury, they don't give a fig. So that little girl is a lot tougher than a lot of men I know that are falconers. What do you think? I really just wanted to have a chat with you because I've seen too these posts on Facebook where it's like, let's shut it down, let's keep them away. In the UK, really the only regulation, the only regulatory thing that dictates who has and flies what bird is price. If something on the open market is worth a lot from a breeder or secondhand, the price is high, very high, then it's only two types of people that will buy that bird for falconry. The really passionate falconer that, like me, just puts everything into what they want to do and love, or someone that's rich. Just have a go. Now, I don't think that rich people should be allowed to be dabblers and idiots, and the less well-off should be pushed out of that bird. Unfortunately, there are less rich people than peasants like us, and that means that you're going to still get people with money dabbling in stuff, even if it's a high price. But in general, the high price stops the dabblers and the wannabes. If the open marketplace is low, and when you say breeders should put their prices up, what a load of idiots thing to say that is. Breeders can only sell their birds for what the marketplace dictates, not what they want to sell them for. They can't put their prices up. Harris Hawk's £2,000 because they wouldn't sell them. Other people would sell them. The second-hand market would let them down, if nothing else. But if the price is cheap, anybody can have one. We're in a state now in the UK where, as mentioned previously, you can get golden eagles, potentially dangerous. In the wrong hands, they could be. You can get golden eagles for very little money or even free. So I can see what people are saying about letting anyone in. Now, it doesn't matter what sex they are, what their sexual persuasion, or really, it doesn't really matter what their age. It matters on their thought processes, not a lot else. Personally, I try and give everyone a chance, everyone a crack of the whip. If I tell someone how to do things properly and they don't listen and then they come back and ask me again, I will still help them, but it'll be very sideways. Don't ask my advice. Don't be an arsehole. Don't ask my advice. Not take it because you don't want to. You want to do it a different way and someone else says you can do it another way. And when that way goes wrong, don't come to me for advice. Go back to them. Really. No one likes an arsehole. They really don't. They really don't. I think we should let people in. I think we should be welcoming falconry. And one last word on the subject really is, from my job in the public domain, the everyday public domain, I can tell you here in the UK, probably most of the world, the general public don't give a fig that you go hunting with your bird of prey. They really don't. They are in awe of birds of prey. If you spend time to talk to them and educate them, and if they say, oh, why'd you chain it down? Don't argue with them. Stop. Be calm. Explain that you don't chain your bird down, why you might tether your bird, why you do what you do. And you should have that knowledge in here to answer anybody's questions correctly and honestly and allay any of their misconceptions about falconry. If they don't want to listen and you can't change their mind, that's up to them. But if you're flying a flag of falconry, flying the flag of falconry, you should have it in here to be able to debate calmly and put people straight about everything you do within the realms of falconry, if you're doing it correctly. The general public really don't care that you're a falconer. It's only out of balance on social media, and that is where the antis get their feet in the door. They portray a world of falconers being nasty, cruel, basically of anyone that eats meat being nasty and cruel. That's not the wider world. Unfortunately, as I said previously, us guys are way too passionate about what we do than to spend all day writing claptrap to counterbalance the anti's misinformation. But where you get the chance and people ask you, explain to them calmly and sensibly. The general public are all for falconry. It's only skewed on social media. Whoever you are, whatever you are, if you've got a driving passion to become a falconer, and I don't even care whether you're poor or rich, push that forward. We need you, the passionate person, for sure.
Woo! I can't believe he flies to you with that hat on.
I know. Whenever.